Hi everyone, Ted Wyman here again with another edition of On the Rocks, and today I am joined by two-time Canadian champion Chelsea Carey from the Bubble in Calgary. Chelsea, how are you today?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing real well, thank you. We're into some specific situations with the Scotties right now regarding your team, regarding championship pool, everything like that. But before we get into anything like that, I'd just like to hear from you what this whole experience has been like from, not really being part of a team in December to joining this team, the Tracy Fleury team, because of an illness to skip Tracy Fleury, to not really practicing at all and definitely not with the team before you come into the Scotties. And just how have you handled it all?
Yeah, it's been bizarre overall, but it's been fun to get to know the girls. I mean, I know them all kind of on a friendship level before, but to get to know them as teammates and kind of see how they work and how they tick and communication and all that kind of stuff. So that's been a lot of fun to kind of delve into. And we did a lot of Zoom calls and things before we got here because that was our only option. I was able to practice for about a week before we got here, which was nice. So I at least felt a little bit better about that. I was nervous coming in completely cold. So I was glad I got to do that when the restrictions loosened up a little bit here in Alberta. So did end up getting to practice a tiny bit. But yeah, the whole thing's been a bizarre experience with all the test requirements and the bubble and isolation and all that stuff. But we're just happy to get a chance to curl. I mean, it's nice to have something to do and something to look forward to when, we kept thinking that the season it was sort of a start, stop. Like this event's going to run. No, it's not. This one's going to run. No, it's not. So it's nice to be here and they've done a really good job and managed to have everybody come back with negative tests, which is great.
Yeah, that is fantastic. You kind of described it as being a bit of a roller coaster so far during the event. And it seems like with many of the teams, there's been a lot of ups and downs. What do you attribute that to? Is it partly the rust? Is it just trying to get used to the ice? What's the mindset on that one?
I think it's a little bit of a lot of things. Certainly it's partially the rust and for us, it's partially being a new team basically,
Yeah.
right? Like me trying to get the broom in the right place for the girls and stuff. So that's definitely played a part of it. But I think that the ice on certain sheets and at certain times in the week has been tricky as well. So that has factored in too. There's been other games where it's been great. This morning it was great, but it's been a little bit touch and go at times while Greg's trying to. It's different for him too, right? With nobody in the building. So we've played in this facility before. So in theory, he's familiar with it and everything else, but he's never done it without fans. So what does that do? Nobody's breathing. There's no humidity coming in from people coming in, so he can't. So he needed it to rain outside so he could open the doors. I've never heard an ice maker ask for rain ever in my life, but that's what he was wanting this week. So yeah, it's been. I think the inconsistency has been due to that. Not just for us, but for all the teams, just the not having played together and everything else. And then yeah, the ice is factoring in a little bit. I think he's got it to a pretty good place now, but there's been some games where it was a little patchy and tricky.
Do you normally feed off the fans in that part of the experience at the Scotties, or do you like it all right without that noise and sort of that background murmur?
No, I think we all miss the fans. I think is fair to say, especially for me. I live in Calgary, so it would have been sort of a hometown Scotties for me, which would have been really cool. So yeah, we definitely wish the fans were here. I mean, you focus on the game a little bit more and stuff, but we were talking about it the other day for the team that wins. It's going to be such a different experience because normally when you win, you get this crazy roar and you won't have that. So yeah, it feels a little bizarre for it to be so quiet, but like I said, we're just happy to get a chance to play.
Sherry Anderson said she could hear the toilet flushing while she was.
Yeah, and you can hear. The funny part is you can hear TSN, so you can hear Vic or Brian because there's nobody else talking and they're in the building with you, and so you can hear the commentators, which is quite entertaining. But
so as we're speaking, your team is at 5-3. You finished the pool play part of your round robin. We're sort of waiting to see about potential tiebreakers and moving on to the championship round. But just wondering your thoughts on how this is set up this year with only 3 teams getting into the playoffs. That 4th team meant a lot. It's going to be a lot harder to get in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a big difference for sure. I don't know how else they could have done it because of the addition of the teams. They needed extra round robin time. So, I mean, I think it was the only option that they had given the 18 team field. But yeah, it definitely changes the dynamic when you've got 18 teams and only 3 qualify. That's a real low percentage. Normally you're 4 out of 16. So that definitely makes it tougher.
Anything surprised you so far this week? I know for a lot of observers, the way the Quebec team has played has been a big surprise to a lot of people.
Yeah, they've. I mean, I don't know any of the other games. She took advantage of every opportunity she had against us for sure. I gave her a few more opportunities than I would have liked to, so I certainly played a role in that one. But she made them all. So it was impressive. She was clutch when she needed to be for sure. So yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people would have bet on that coming in, but it's nice to see a new face every so often go on a bit of a run. You kind of see the same people all the time, so it's good. I think it's good for the game to see some new, especially young teams kind of break through.
Absolutely. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us from the bubble in Calgary. Best of luck with the rest of the 2021 Scotties Tournament of Hearts. You've been watching On the Rocks for Postmedia.